6 games down, 1 more to go in the 2025 edition of the Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawl. If you're an Evangel Christian School Lightning fan, you're exhilarated and excited and stressed out and fearful all at once, with all eyes on Eli Black as he tries to succeed the incredible quarterback legacy that's been over the last several years for the Evangel Christian School Lightning and lead them to their 40th straight win in high school 8-man football in a rematch of last year's game where they won 38-19 against the Arundel Parrott Academy. Another one of these teams that is looking to get vengeance and get a win in the Smokies. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Tomset alongside Eli Cornett. Preston McElhaney joins us on the sidelines. Proud to be with you in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Eli, a matchup that lived up to the hype last year. Everyone thought Evangel had a down year, as they've thought for the last several years. They think they're down, but this is very different, and you could hear it in Coach Smith's voice through the media availability earlier this month, in that he mentioned there were 23 players lost from their roster last year. Said this is the smallest he's had since his first year with the Lightning.
Yeah, it's the smallest team he's had since his first year, but he's still got some talent. So he's got a lot of young talent, too. I don't believe there's a lot of seniors on this roster. So it's going to be very interesting to see what this Evangel Lightning 2025 team looks like. And we're about to find out tonight, Spence.
I tell you, we were also talking about this in our production meeting with all these sort of storylines for Arundel Parrott. Mason Mooring is really one of the cornerstones of their offense on the rushing side, but you also have to look at Ben Barrett on the receiving side. A lot of questions at the quarterback position with the incredible seniors that graduated last year, but Christopher Stimson was the only player who got reps in the passing game last year in his junior year, so the senior who was on the All-State team for the NCISAA last year, has to step up here for his team. Yeah,
he's got to step up big. He's got to make sure he's got to be Eli Black's security blanket tonight. He's got to be his go-to guy. He's got to come up and make big plays. You're going to have guys like Ben Barrett also look to make big plays. Ben Barrett had a good season last year, but Eli Black, he's got to make sure that he finds him and he gets the ball to him and limit the mistakes tonight.
This Arundel Parrott Patriot team last year went 10-2. They were the number 1 seed with an undefeated record in the North Carolina Independent Schools Athletic Association. They won in the quarterfinal against St. David's by 40 points and then lost by 1 point in the semifinal to John Paul Catholic II. It's been a long day, very heated on the mountain, even more so on that field. You know that better than anyone else. And away we go from Legion Field at Hammond Stadium, and it's contacted first by Evangel's Cruz Romano, but swallowed up by the special teams. And we will see Eli Black in his quarterback starting debut. And during ACSC Media Day availability, he said there was a lot of growing pains, or I beg your pardon, his coach in Tim Smith said there were a lot of growing pains in the adjustment with Eli Black, but Eli said he did feel the pressure for being a starting quarterback, but he was stepping up and ready for the challenge.
I mean, when you got to replace Kip Swords, that's big shoes to fill. So Eli Black, Coach Smith believes he's the man for the job, and we're certainly going to find that out tonight as well.
Also replacing Eli Whitaker and Tyler Henderson from those national championship teams, and he's got a deep toss already. Right side, a dime. Got the coverage beat. Cole Watson couldn't make it down, and Evangel's big burst play comes at the hands of Ben Davis.
Yeah, well, we found out pretty quickly. Eli Black able to get on a 3-step drop, finds this guy on, looks like he was running a wheel route, able to locate the ball, and he was able to bring that down. Looks like he got down to the 27-yard line. So great pitch and catch to start off this nightcap for the Black Bear Brawl.
Yeah, I tell you, last year Eli Black only had 2 for 3 on his completions for 11 yards. He's already surpassed that in just one play from scrimmage as he hands it off to the sophomore Isaac Griffith, who will head to the right side and get a chunk play there for a couple of yards.
Yeah, he was able to turn the corner on that one, but he got stuck out of bounds. The Arundel Parrott defense, they're here to play tonight. The last year they were up by, I believe, 2 touchdowns last year and gave away that lead to the Evangel Lightning. So this Arundel Parrott group, they're angry. They're hungry. They're ready to get it back. They're ready for a little bit of revenge tonight, a little bit of vengeance. So look for this Arundel Parrott squad to come out hot and ready to go.
Patriots went on a 9-0 run last year after losing on the mountain, as scrambled there to about the 18-yard line for Eli Black. Gets a gain of a couple yards. The Patriots went 0-1 to start out the season here in Gatlinburg. 9-0 regular season, had their victory in the semifinal, and the only other loss was against John Paul II Catholic. So it shows you that the fact that they only lost in a very competitive John Paul II team and to the Lightning at the beginning of the year when they had a chance to figure out the kinks. You mentioned it, revenge is what they're trying to get here.
Yeah, revenge is what they're trying to get here, and right now they're facing the first challenge tonight. This Eli Black offense is driven down the field in 3 plays, and so they're already backed up here.
Here's Black, left side, incomplete, looking for his man Ben Davis again, who had 309 receiving yards on the 2024 campaign, has gone 1 for 2 on his targets. This Lightning team, same record as the Patriots last year at 10-2, also went undefeated in in their respective conference. In the Alabama Christian Sports Conference, went 4-0 and won their conference championship last year against East Central 77-44. As this will be kept by Eli Black up the middle. He'll go to about the 15. And if you talk to Tim Smith like he did earlier this month, he even said that it was still a competitive game in the conference championship. Even though the score shows you could call it a one-sided game, they still felt like it was a battle to the end.
Yeah, with Coach Smith being old school like that, every game's going to be a battle for them. He's a perfectionist. He's what every ball coach now, young ball coach, inspires to be, kind of that old school, grind it out, gritty, look for the little details and try to fix those little details. That's what Coach Smith is looking for, and that's what's made his team so great for so long.
Black will keep the ball again using that same formation. He manages to get it up to the 11-yard line. Will make it about a 2nd and 6 with a gain of 4.
Yeah, they really like that jet motion. They're coming across with that jet motion, and Black has kept it twice, and it's worked out pretty well for him. They're about 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5 right now. So that it's being effective. They're getting a little bit of yardage every time, but you might see that play pop for a few more yards, maybe even a house call tonight if they keep running that effectively, just kind of setting it up.
On a 2nd and 4 just outside the 10-yard line. Another bit of motion there, and Black's going to keep it again. He'll get down to about the 4-yard line. Took several defenders of the Patriots to bring him down.
The only difference on that play is that O-line was moving. They were driving the Arundel defensive line, driving them back, and Eli Black was able to pick up that first down. So we got 1st and goal now.
These Patriots made a travel from Kinston, North Carolina, and Evangel from Alabaster, Alabama. For Evangel, they left this morning. They got in here earlier on to arrive on site. Not normally what they've done in years past. Here's Eli Black again trying to find a seam. Gets maybe a yard or 2 gain there. It is now 2nd and goal after getting to the line to gain earlier.
Yeah, number 3. Let's see we get that number. Ben Davis was able to stick that one out. Great job by the big boy getting in there and stuffing that thing for nothing.
Four yards to the end zone on 2nd and goal. Eli Black won't go for motion this time. He'll look for a pass in the end zone. Had a great target there to Ben Davis. You meant Ben Barrett on the other side. Funny how there's Ben number 3 on both teams there, but targeted to Ben Davis again, 1 for 3.
Yeah, just kind of got it over his head, threw it over his head a little bit there. So that's an easy throw. That's an easy throw. It's not something that they can correct later on, make adjustments for. So nothing really to worry about. his confidence is probably up after that deep shot on the first play. So he's just got to settle down a little bit, kind of go through his reads, settle his feet down, and just get the timing better on that one.
Eli Black, another one of those players who was very heavy on the rushing side. He led the team on rushing touchdowns and rushing yards last year. Didn't really have to worry about quarterback position so much.
I really like this matchup with Trey Hope outside.
Black will get swallowed up by the defense. That's Brody Kuzchek and company who bring him down.
Brody Kuzchek just came in there like an animal, just swallowed him up in the backfield. Great job there by the – let's see, what grade is he in? What grade is that big boy in? 12th grade, so the senior. He's been around the block a little bit. Great play there by the senior.
At 82 tackles, 23 of them on his own, as the Lightning are going to think things over and call a timeout. With 7 minutes left to go in the first quarter, the Lightning have a choice here to think about at the break. This Lightning team burns their first timeout of the first half early on. We've seen a couple of teams throughout the day choose to do that earlier on, and
we did that earlier in our game. We did that a lot, first and second half.
And sometimes you need that to give a team a chance to reset when things aren't going your way, no matter what time it is.
Oh, yeah.
4th and goal from the 6-yard line. Evangel trying to strike first. Here's Eli Black looking for a chance. He's going to take it, but he's not going to get there. He'll get to the 1-yard line, and it's a turnover on downs forced by the Patriot defense.
They really like him rolling to his left. So, and that's where all the space is. So it was good. Great play design on that. He just needed to cut up a little bit north and south. He was trying to win that foot race, just wasn't able to win on that one. But overall, good drive by Eli Black. He kind of got settled in a little bit. He was he missed a few easy throws, but he made a few complicated throws. So great job by the junior on his first drive.
Well, while they're turning over on downs, we're going to welcome the third member of our broadcast crew, Preston McElhaney. Hopefully it's cooled down there, my friend.
It's starting to cool down, Spencer. Yeah, this game, you could see something in the eyes of Evangel. They definitely have a fierceness to them. I was watching them practice earlier over by the soccer field, and, man, you could just tell they were playing with every ounce of determination going into this game. But is the defense perhaps playing with a little bit more? These are two powerhouse teams from miles away, and I'll send it back to you.
Braxton Lofton Myers with a big burst inside Evangel territory. You had a good insight there, Preston. Braxton stole the show.
Yeah, he just cut that edge and he just went. He almost won that foot race, but he was able to get tracked down. Looks like he actually got trapped down at the 50, but he leaped. I don't know where they spotted the ball at, but he got about 5 extra yards on just that little bit of extra effort. So great job there by the Arundel running back on that.
The senior, nothing on the stat board for last year, so that leads us to believe a new player for these Patriots. And good to see one of the 11 seniors making an impact in this first game. From the 45, you've got Stimson with a deep air out wide open for the touchdown is Ben Barrett. He had 11 receiving touchdowns on the 2024 campaign, and he's got the first score of the year for the Patriots.
Yeah, let's just look at that. It's a standard play, action play, 3-step drop. Got him on the post. It might have been a go route, but hey, Arundel's up 6 to start this game.
839 receiving yards for Ben Barrett, on average 24 yards per catch. About at that statistic, almost about 40 yards on the reception. And now a two-pointer attempt here for Arundel Parrott. swallowed up in the backfield. Lofton Myers, nowhere to go. But after a good defensive stand on the goal line for the Patriots, they drive down the field in just 2 plays, and they're up 6-0 on the Lightning. This Patriots team looking for vengeance. They've already got a score early, but as you mentioned, Eli, similar to what we saw last year here in the Smokies.
Yeah, very similar to what we saw last year. I believe they got up to a 2-touchdown lead, and this Arundel Parrott team, they have to finish. They got to play 4 quarters. So they already jumped on them early. It's a 6-point ball game with 6 minutes left in the first quarter. So they need to really make this a 4-quarter game, play a complete game if they want to pull this one out here in Gatlinburg tonight.
Yeah, last year the Evangel Lightning they ended the first quarter 22-13 lead over Arundel Parrott, I should say. So that sounds about right with the touchdowns and then a scoring run for the Lightning, and then went 16-0 in the second quarter, and then 1 touchdown by Arundel Parrott in the fourth. Starting to seem fairly similar to what we saw last year, but still plenty of time.
Going back to the Evangel offense, Eli Black had a really good first drive, so let's see if he can build off of that and put it into the end zone.
Just giving up to Ben Davis, who will get about 4 yards here for a 2nd and 6. Another interesting aspect, Hagen Joyner grew his family, had a child this past year, and originally was not going to be with the team at all, so he could step aside and prioritize that. He's now an official consultant, assistant coach with the team, and Tim Smith even mentioned this is the first time that he's called plays since he started with the Evangel Lightning, so he said he felt a little nervous, but felt confident enough to do the right thing.
Yeah, and that's a very cool story, having him come back and be a part of this football team again. So that's awesome for this Evangel Lightning crew.
They sent Hope in motion, and on the right side trying to go through was Eli Black again. Got another set of chunk play yards here to make it a 3rd and 3. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is part of the Lightning strategy as well, where we've seen this throughout the day of teams just having these chunk plays, managing the clock to their favor, and just draining it as fast as they can.
Well, Tim Smith is a trap master when it comes to his offense. He'll run the same play over and over. It's got different variations to every single play he runs. So he's going to set you up, and then he's going to hit you, and you just don't know when that's coming. So they've run, and see, they're running a different play on this one.
Eli Black with another deep toss right side. Trey Hope in the area, couldn't pull it in. Good clean coverage there between Blair and Stimson.
Yeah, he just kind of lofted that one up, put a little too much air on it, rolling to his right now. He's rolling to his left on the first drive. Just kind of put a little too much air on that one. He gave his receiver a chance with 2 Arundel Parrott DBs back there, but still was able to give his receiver a chance. So overall, good play there by the junior.
Does stop the clock at 4:35. Still in the opening quarter. Seems a little bit slower than most of the other games that have been going on throughout the day.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, starting to chill down here on the mountain a little bit here in Gatlinburg. 83 degrees. It's as high as 87. Eli Black with the quick sling for the first down. Another catch by Ben Davis. I think we found the favorite target with the senior to junior connection.
Yeah, and hey, that was just a great read there by Eli Black. Found the hitch route in the seam, was able to we kind of call that a stick route. So he just ran that little stick route right there, caught the ball, was able to get what he can get. Didn't have to do anything too fancy, so that's just a really good pass and throw there for Eli Black. So another good confidence-boosting throw there for the junior.
Gets them into the Patriots' territory at the 45-yard line. This Patriot defense has been really good on the tackle side over the last 2024 season. As left side with this carry is Isaac Griffith. Carried it for 47 yards on 4 carries last year. He's got a touch play there for a gain of 7.
Yeah, just an outside zone play on this one. He was able to get outside. Looks like he had a few bbig boys leading the way. He beat one of his blockers out there, able to get what he can get, and he's now set up his offense for a 2nd and 2. So great run there by this Evangel offense.
Tacked on an extra yard on the spot to put a 2nd down and 2 on the 37-yard line. And this Lightning team, Eli Black also mentioned that his priority as well was to be a dual threat for the season. Tim Smith expressed that as well, and then we've already seen that play out so far in the game as they give it again to Griffith. He'll try to push through for the 1st down. He may have been stopped short for a 3rd and inches.
Yeah, and this offense is running a lot of option today, a lot of read option with the jet motion, a lot of just standard read option. They've run a little bit of inverted veer already, kind of a loaded option. So this offense is trying to figure out what Black can do to try to get him in open space. So they're just kind of testing things out, and right now I think they're still trying to figure that out. But overall, you have to be really happy with what you're seeing right now with this offense.
And especially thinking this is the first game of Tim Smith coordinating this offense in years. So getting at least some smaller victories at the moment. Here's Griffith to try and get the 1st down. Avoided the tackle for loss, trying to get to the outside, and he's not going to get there. 2 yards lost on the play, so now a 4th and short.
Yeah, and he bounced that outside way too quick. He should have just stuck his foot in the ground. He only had about a yard or 2 to go, like we said previously, Spencer. So he should have gotten north and south, get what he could get, maybe set up a 4th and inches. But right now this offense is at a little, not difficult, but a little bit more challenging 4th and 4. So your play options are a little bit more limited right now.
You have to go back probably 4 years, at least of the games that have been on the Extreme Broadcasting Network, for the times that Evangel has punted. And that trend is going to continue here where they don't. Black on 4th and 3, looking for the scramble. He's got it, the 1st down, and a little more at the 30. And we're starting to see some sparks of this quarterback making something of nothing.
And it was the exact same play they ran on the previous 4th down conversion. They ran that little stick route right in the middle, and he was just didn't really like it and scrambled for the 1st down. So great heads-up play there by Black.
And he does get out of bounds on the play at the 29 to stop the clock at 87 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter. This Patriots defense trying to force a stop just like they did on the opening drive for the Lightning.
Look at Ben Davis right down here in the slot, coming in motion.
And whistles here as Tim Smith is going to burn his 2nd timeout already in the 1st quarter. 1:25 remaining. Tim Smith and company will think it over here in Gatlinburg. At the 1:25 mark in the 1st quarter, the Lightning only have 1 timeout Arundel has all 3 as Black will look for the pass off. He's got the connection to Davis again, trying to spin out of a tackle and manage to get inside the 10 for a 1st and goal.
Yeah, just a little bit of a rollout there, a little bit of a bootleg. He was able to come back to his left and find Davis in the flat. Davis able to turn that up. Looks like they was kind of running a flat concept right there. Was able to turn up and get a little bit more yardage. This is going to be key for both teams. It's a term that most ball knowers would know, but it's YAC, yards after contact, yards after catch. That is very key. So if you want big plays or you want to set up big plays, get your playmakers, you have to get yards after contact.
And Ben Davis in total entered or just yards per catch. Max Preps doesn't break down the yards after contact metric, but 19.3 out of 16 catches. Time winding down in the first. They'll hand it off again to Isaac Griffith, and he'll lose a yard on the play.
Yeah, and big old Mason Mooring was the first one back there, able to drive him back. The Arundel defensive line, they've gotten a push at times, but they're definitely giving a fight to this Evangel offensive line. The Arundel Parrott defensive line also looks bigger than the Evangel Lightning offensive line. But this Evangel Lightning offensive line is holding their own right now. They're doing a really great job.
And it looks like we've got another timeout here. Or I beg your pardon. It looked like with them heading the other sides, they were going on a timeout, but they just decided to let the clock run. First 12 minutes done, 12 more to go in the first half. It's a low-scoring affair. The Patriots lead by 6 over the Lightning. Second quarter commences on a 2nd down and goal from the 10-yard line, and to the right side it's Griffith again, who will get down to the 6-yard line after being tackled by 2 defenders.
Yeah, they really like that outside zone over there. They've run that a lot in the red zone. And number 23, Cole Watson, took the punishment on that one, was able to get him down and stop him short of the goal line.
Tell you, it impresses me that Isaac Griffith only had 4 carries last year as a freshman. Now, when you look at the 23 players that were lost from last year's roster for the Lightning, it wouldn't surprise you that he was one of their depth chart players that didn't get as much playing time because of how good everyone else was to replace.
Yeah.
And the sophomore is getting a lot of touches already in this opening game. Black will keep it. He'll try to find an opening. Black trying to push to the goal line with the stretch.
Looks like very short.
He is ruled short.
He is short, yeah.
Now maybe a half-yard short here.
Let me see. We got the replay right here. Looks like it was – he gave a little bit of an extra effort right after that. Ah, that's close. That's close. He gave that little bit of extra effort, but the question is – If this was college football, we could be able to tell. But if his knee was down or not, looked like he might have rolled on top of that Arundel defender, but it was too close to call.
Same situation the Lightning had on the other end of the field where they were within 5 yards of scoring and on a 4th and goal. So now the Lightning try to get their first score of the game with a yard to do it. Black under center. He'll try to sneak it and get to the outside. Easy. Touchdown, Evangel.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying a little bit of a QB sneak, but the Evangel offensive line made it very easy for him, going under center with Griffith motioning out to the field. Just kind of made it a little bit easy. Why go to the pile when there's room on the outside? Why wouldn't you just go to the outside? Great job Great job by Eli Black there to finally get Evangel on the board in the second quarter.
It's also been a concern today for forward progress being stopped early throughout the day's contest, so it might have been in the back of the mind of Eli Black there potentially.
No comment. No comment.
10:08 is the marker where they stop the clock for the score, and Evangel has a chance to take the lead on this two-pointer. Black in the shotgun.
Okay.
Double reversal and toss to the right side, and he couldn't pull it in. It was a well-executed play, but Eli Black couldn't make the catch.
Yeah, a very well-designed play as we have the replay again for the two-point conversion. Very interesting formation with 3 guys back. Little bit of a CD Lamb to Baker Mayfield in the 2018 Rose Bowl. A little bit there. Tim Smith's pulling out of his bag of tricks tonight. So I don't think this is going to be the first trick play we're going to see tonight, but very close to making that one perfect.
This is we mentioned this is the second time matchup ever between these two teams. Coach Smith mentioned that they almost didn't make it here to the Smokies, but he was called by Coach Beeman. Coach Beeman told him, let's do it again. Yeah. Let's have another matchup and another competition here. And very early on, but you can tell this is one of those that's not just on our front of things, but Andrew Cap's coordinators and the fans recognize this is a matchup we wanted to happen again. This
is the matchup that I'm not trying to look forward too much, but it reminds me just that same feeling of that Freedom Pack game last year, and then we capped off the 2024 season with that great NHFA championship. This kind of has that same feeling of could we see both of these teams in Florida. It kind of has that feel tonight.
Well, Coach Smith already confirmed they're going to Florida this year. As this bounces around the 40, and Evangel's got it. It went 10 yards. A crucial mistake from the Patriots special teams, and Ben Davis capitalizes on it.
Great job there by Ben Davis going to get the ball. In a perfect bounce there, just kind of bounced straight up in the air. Looks like number 3 for Arendelle. Ben Barrett was unable to locate that ball, but Ben Davis was able to come up to it. Battle of the threes there, but the 3 in blue was able to come up victorious on that one.
Battle of the Bens, battle of the threes, and Barrett with the mistake there that Ben Davis was able to capitalize on. And the Lightning have great field advantage at the 42.
They're going to go with that same little tricky formation with 2 wings to each side.
And we got moving there.
Illegal motion, most likely.
Good to see our official Whitecap back on the field. He had left earlier in the 4 o'clock matchup, and I say good to see the Whitecap. It's not the same official that was unable to work the rest of the game earlier, but good to see a 5-person crew out there. It's very heated out here in Gatlinburg. The sun has finally started going over the mountains and cooling down a little bit, and you got that wing formation again, right side. Isaac Griffith tries to spin through, gets to about the 42-yard line. Clock will continue to run.
And number 10, Brooks Grady with that tackle. The junior with 90 tackles last year, 23 solo tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and 2 fumble recoveries last year. So definitely one of their leaders on defense that Coach Beeman's looking to step up tonight.
Leader of the respective categories on tackles and solo tackles, as well as fumble recoveries for the players returning from last year's Patriot roster. And a loss on the last play there for a 2nd and 11. And another bit of trickery. Ben Davis has got it, and he's got it just outside the 30, tackled by Nick Blair.
Yeah, that's a great play design. Ben Davis able to cut up and just kind of cut across the grain and get upfield to get another Evangel first down. This offense is moving tonight. Both offenses have been moving tonight, but things have just kind of leaned Evangel's way in this first half. But they're making the most of it right now.
I already mentioned early on about the sort of clock management side of things. We're already about past 3.5 minutes into the second quarter. Tempo being controlled by the Lightning. And again, they'll give it back to Griffith. Gets up to about the 27-yard line. Gain of 4.
Yeah, and they just want this clock. The clock's going to stop. Oh, it looks like the clock's still going to move. But they want this clock to wind. I believe they kicked off to start the first half, so they're looking for a score, kind of wind this clock down, maybe get another score after that. This defense has been playing well. They gave up that first play, but they've kind of settled into the game. Now both teams have kind of settled into the game, but they want to jump on this lead before the second half.
Keep in mind as well, the Patriots do get the ball to start the second half. Evangel not able to capitalize on their opening drive. Still plenty of time left to go before you get to that point. But this is kept by, I believe it was Trey Hope who actually took the snap. Yeah, that was Trey Hope. He got a little bit of a carry there. The senior who not have any stats on last year. Again, most of the time when you have seniors who are not on the football team, is either they joined the program or may have decided to play football. They were a part of the Evangel family. Mm-hmm. And Trey Hope getting some action there.
Yeah, Trey Hope there with the QB power, but Brooks Grady was there to clean that up. Brooks Grady's been flying all over the field tonight. I believe I've counted 3 or 4 tackles already in this game. So playing that, it looks like he's playing that Mike linebacker position, kind of playing the quarterback of the defense, and he's doing a really good job right now communicating with his guys and getting them lined up.
Using that same formation again, nowhere for Isaac Griffith to go, as he'll be spotted at the line of scrimmage for a 4th and 6.
And big old Tanner Outlaw was getting that one in there. He got in there and stuffed that one up. Tanner Outlaw with only 5 tackles last year and 1 tackle for loss, so didn't see a lot of action. Actually, I can't – is that number 6? That is number 6. My fault. That is Brody Kuchek, who we've called already. He got in there and made that big old play. So great job there by those 2 guys.
They actually credit a loss of 2 yards on the play for 4th and 8. Looked like it was spotted initially back at the line of scrimmage. Black looking for options, trying to gain 8 yards. He's going to keep it himself, and he's going to get the first down. And, again, you talk about the great quarterbacks that have been through the Evangel program. Eli Black is starting to show signs that he fits right in.
He's starting to show signs, but he needs to be more careful with that ball. He's kind of LaShawn McCoying that ball right now, so it's going to be very easy for Rendell to maybe punch that ball out. So he needs to tuck that ball away. But, again, he's kind of stamping his name tonight, and he's doing a really good job leading this Evangel offense.
Interesting to note as well of the returning players from the Evangel Lightning. Eli Black led the team in tackles for loss. He was almost at 100 tackles last year. So one of those dual-threat players you could see on the defensive side if the Patriots ever get the ball back with the way this clock has been managed. Black will keep it with the spin. He'll get to the 14. He'll push forward for an extra yard to the 13. Give a gain of 1 yard there for a 2nd and 9. This Lightning team, their semifinal last year is only in the last couple of years. The Alabama Christian Sports Conference added semifinals to their postseason, having a total of 16s in the conference. Evangel won against Ezekiel Academy 59-20. Hunter Wilson making his return to the head coaching side back to the Ezekiel Academy Knights after starting his family as well. A lot of families being started in the ACSC recently with a lot of young coaches, as Eli Black will keep the ball at the reversal here. Finds an opening. Eli Black has got space and gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Lightning.
Great job and great ball vision on that one by Eli Black. Started left, was going left. He had all his blockers going to the left, cut back, and was able to find and outrun that Arundel defender and puts up his offense by sixpence.
We mentioned how he was the team leader in rushing from those coming back this year at 8 touchdowns and 387 rushing yards on 32 attempts. And now the junior has got his team up by 6 with a chance for 8. Has to be lobbed out and easy. That was actually fooled me. I thought that Isaac Griffith had it from here, and the 2-point conversion.
That was Ben Davis.
Yep, no good. Ben Davis ended up getting the ball, and just a 6-point lead with 3:58 left to go in the second quarter. Evangel takes the lead. Sanders set to kick. Lofton Myers set to receive as the Lightning go up by 6 with 3:58 left to go in this first half. And the Lightning have burned 2 of their timeouts. They've got 1 left. The Patriots have not used any. So just like the Lightning did here in this second quarter, the Patriots could very well take the ball wherever it ends up and just continue to march it down the field.
Yeah, just continue to march it down the field. They had that big, Arundel had that big first. They're going to pooch it again.
Another one of those pooch and a fair catch called there. Ben Barrett managed to see it there and prevent the bounce from even happening.
The Ben in red won that one.
Yes.
This time.
Got it to the 43-yard line, and good field positioning to start out for Arundel Parrott.
Well, you have, I believe Arundel has all 3 timeouts still. So you have a little bit under 4 minutes left to go. You were able to drive the ball down pretty much at will on that first drive and ended with that deep shot to Ben Barrett. So look for that to maybe come back. Ben Barrett is now split out wide. I like that matchup at the top of your screen. They also got a really good run play out of number 7, Braxton Lofton Myers. So let's see if any of those 2 guys get in the action.
Fake the handoff. Right side catch is made. Ben Barrett has got a first down and a little more. Brought down by several Evangel Lightning players.
Yeah, it looks like they just ran a little bit of an out route on that. Yeah, he just ran. He ran what you call a whip route on that, and he was able to make the catch and get the first down. So easy pitch and catch for the Arundel offense.
First down in the Lightning territory at the 44-yard line. And they will hand it off this time. Left side, Braxton Lofton Myers has got some space. Flag down on the run as he goes all the way to the 2-yard line. Let's check the flag.
Looks like it's probably going to be a hold.
And 9 times out of 10 when you have big burst runs or catches like that, and they have a holding, pass interference, something along those lines, we'll get the call. Yeah, they bring it back for the Patriots at the spot of the foul. Brings it back for a 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. pretty much right back where they started.
Yeah, exactly. Almost exactly where they started. But Craig Lofton-Meyer showing you that speed and that burst and acceleration on that one. So, again, like I said earlier, they went to Barrett and then they went to Lofton-Meyer. So, kind of two of their go-to guys tonight. A guy we haven't seen get in the action yet is number 13, William Stimpson. We haven't seen him get in the action yet today. So, maybe look to see for them to go his way tonight. That's where he's looking.
And here's Stimpson with the deep dart, overthrew his target. That's Stimpson trying to connect to Stimpson, and incomplete.
Yeah, they're trying to hit him on a poster out there. Just let him a little bit too far on that. Put a little too much, too much touch on that. Stimpson wasn't able to get under it. But hey, they're taking shots tonight, so I can respect that. They're looking to get back into this game before halftime.
Interesting that they've got William Stimpson going on the receiving end when he has not he did not have a receiving statistic from last year. So Coach Beeman trying some different things on the offensive side, mixing some things up, especially for the senior, as this will go up the middle. How about the push of the pile there? The Evangel defense, not something we're used to seeing in the last several years, as it goes for another gain for 3 yards to the line to gain.
Yeah, Lofton-Meyer showing you the power on that one. Got hit at first and then broke off of that contact and got about 3 extra yards. So we've seen the speed, we've seen the burst, but now we're seeing the power that this young man has, that the senior has. So I'm really excited to see what he might do here down the stretch in this first half.
Third and 3 outside the 35. 2 minutes left to go in this first half. Stimpson will try to get the reception off to Stimpson, too low.
Yeah, if you look at that one, he kind of drove that one right into the ground. He just, we're going to get a replay right here. Yeah, he just he put too much on that, and as quarterback, you want to be square, and he kind of tilted his shoulders down a little bit, and that's what kind of drove him to the ground. It probably was supposed to be a low throw. He just put a little too much on that. Was kind of throwing almost like a grounder to first on that one. He needs to get that one up just a little bit to give his brother a chance.
And he got some contact on it with his fingers there, but wasn't able to pull it in. Brings up a 4th and 3, and they're going to run it for the first down
there goes
and
that
a little
man.
bit more. Braxton Lofton-Myers brought down from behind by Jack Nevins, but a big first down inside the red zone.
There goes that man. He's becoming one of my favorite players this weekend. He's doing it all right now. He's showing you the power and the burst, and he was able to pick up that 4th down and potentially get them either tied up with the Lightning or get above the Lightning here before the first half. So great job there by the senior.
And the Patriots get the ball to start out the second half. Or at least they're supposed to receive the kickoff. But seeing how that attempted short kick went by the Lightning, wouldn't be surprised if they try something like that. But for now, all that's on the minds of the Evangel players. Get a stop here with 1:13 left in the first half.
Now we're going I formation.
I formation, backside, Lofton-Myers. He gets swallowed down. Good
Eli
defensive
Black.
move.
Eli Black, the quarterback, coming in and slamming Lofton-Myers on that one. Looks like he might have been able to cut back and maybe even pick up the first down on that. But Eli Black, the quarterback, was there to stop him in his tracks.
Well, he had 11 tackles for loss last year. He had 38 tackles on his own out of the 99 he performed in the 2024 campaign. And I already mentioned earlier about him potentially being a dual threat player. And he kind of has to, because Evangel usually has been able to have just specialty players where they have enough depth to where they don't have to play people on both sides of the ball. But different story this year. Stimpson will dart it in the middle, catch for the touchdown. Tanner Outlaw had one receiving touchdown last year. He's matched his total to tie the game.
The big man is able to get in there and get his first touchdown of the year, and hopefully the first of many for that young man. Great pitch and catch there from Stimpson to Outlaw. I just love that name, Tanner Outlaw, getting in there. I love that. So let's see if they can get this 2-point conversion before halftime to potentially take the lead.
This may be a game that comes down to 2-point conversions, as we've seen throughout a lot of games here in Gatlinburg.
Pack and Freedom.
Yep. Had that happen last week between Pack and South Haven as well.
Uh-oh.
High snap, mishandled ball, no 2-point conversion, tied at 12.
Yeah, just a little bit of a high snap, and it looked like, let's see, number 13. It looks like they don't have a number 13 on the roster for Evangel, but he was able to get in there and make that play. Great job by the young man.
You're good. Well, you're good is what the coaching staff of the Patriots is saying right now after that touchdown, but not necessarily on the 2-point conversion. Probably a little bit of a different story with any of their assistant coaches.
But look at the positive here. You are potentially going to be tied up at halftime, which is a major improvement from where you were with this team last year. So they've done a really good job. Looks like they've done this little kickoff thing every single time. It looks like they're going to go for a little bit of a mud kick, and they reset to your original kickoff. So a very fancy little thing they have there, Coach Beeman and his team.
And it does get contacted there by David Johnson of the Lightning. Who's going to pick it up? It's Arendelle. Ben Barrett with the recovery.
Look at that. Ben Barrett is able to come up. It's now 2-1. Ben Barrett, battle of the threes, is able to pick up that one with 17 seconds left. They're going to be able to take a few shots into the end zone to potentially take this lead before half, Spence.
So I do want to clarify, we normally do our game prep, or at least I do, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and I looked at Max Preps. Nick Sanders Jr., number 13, he must have been added this week.
Had to have been, yeah.
So because he was on that roster, unless I could have missed it, could have made a mistake there. But Nick Sanders Jr., number 13 for the Evangel
There goes
Lightning.
my man.
And here goes Braxton Lofton-Myers again on the outside, cutting through several tackles, finally wedged between two Lightning players, specifically Wolf and Black, and he's got a chunk gain here at 7.3, and the Patriots used their first time out of the half.
Yeah, they used that first time out, and they were able to get good field position and that first down. So now it's going to be a little bit easier for them to take a few shots into the end zone. Remember, you got Stimson and Barrett outside, so you have options. Maybe hit Lofton-Myers out in the flat, able to pick up a few more yards, and maybe use that last time out if you have that time. But you certainly do have options to take this lead going into halftime.
Right before halftime, Preston McElhaney will have a brief chat with head coach Matt Beeman, get his thoughts and analysis on this first half, which I'm sure he's going to be riding a high if they manage to score on this play. I'm sure he's very pleased with the way his team has played and stayed in this game thus far.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially with him coordinating the offense as well for them to be as successful as they have.
Yeah, they've been very successful. They had that one little slip on that second drive, but ever since then they've been pretty much flawless. They've been able to – I don't think they've turned over the ball on offense. So they've been doing a really good job. They're going I formation. This is very interesting. They might come out with a little bit of a rollout, bootleg, play action. Let's see what they're going to come out with this. Maybe a little bit of a waggle, a little waggle concept. See what Stimson comes out with.
7.3, 2 timeouts for the Patriots. They will fake
Outlaw.
the handoff, right side. Catch is made. Tanner Outlaw trying to push to the goal line, loses the
Go
football.
get the ball.
They rule it, and it's recovered in the end zone. Now, I believe the official ruled him down.
That's interesting. We got the replay right here. He's going to hit him on the corner route. Looks like he was fighting. He's in. He's in. The ball didn't break the plane until the ball didn't come out until he broke the plane. That is a touchdown. That is 100% a touchdown.
Well, the officials on the field in real time rule it as short of the goal line, and that will end it for us.
I mean, just look at it. Sorry, Spence. Just look at this one time. You can't tell if his knee is down or not, but that ball is over the plane beforehand. So that is That's very questionable. And Blake Biggs, our cameraman next to me, is saying his knee didn't touch at all. So I believe you, Blake. I believe you. I believe you.
We've had a lot of close calls today. It has been a tight day in terms of the contest and everything, and that could be one of those plays that determines the outcome of the game.
Absolutely.
As we get into the second half. But regardless, if you're the Arundel Parrott Patriots right now, you have to like what your team is doing. You have to like the performance there, especially against the Evangel Lightning and the run they've had in the last several years. And we'll hear from both of the coaches. On the other side of the break, we'll hear from head coach Tim Smith. But at least for the time being, we'll get a word with Coach Matt Beam and Preston McElhaney on the field. Might be having some technical issues that Preston is trying to solve here with his device. And we'll see if we can get it down now. Preston McElhaney down on the field.
You feel about your team's momentum going into
I mean, I feel good. Even game, we're getting the ball to start the second half. I like where we are. We just got to make sure we get the kick. They're going to do some type of onside. We've got to get it. I mean, I don't feel like they can stop our offense. We just got to get off the field defensively.
I noticed the team had a strong reaction to that onside kick recovery. How about your side of things over there, knowing that it was let up?
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. You know, they stole possession, we stole one. So, I mean, we got to punch it in right there. We got to make the right read and get it to the guy we need to get it to. But, you know, overall, good half. It's going to be a dogfight.
You got a good game going. You have fun, Coach.
They stole one from us. We stole one from them. That's likely going to be how this game ends up. 7:30 left to go here before halftime is over. We'll hear from Tim Smith in a few minutes. You're watching the 2025 Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawl on A-Man. Which camera is on him? Brendan's got it. We welcome you back at the start of the second half. Preston McElhaney is with Evangel Lightning head coach Tim Smith.
Okay, Coach, so I got to ask you, we had a big, busy first half. Both teams had lots of ties and stuff, and I got to ask you, your team had a pretty positive reaction to that onside kick recovery. I got to know how you're feeling about that.
Yeah, it was a big play. The more we can keep it from their offense, the better off we are. They're very good on offense. They're very good on defense, but if we can keep it out of his hand over there, maybe we got a chance in the second half.
Are you feeling confident about this game at all, knowing that they're kind of keeping good with y'all?
No. I mean, this is a good football team. This is a good football game. I don't know who's going to win this one, but I bet this. I bet both teams are going to keep playing hard the rest of the game.
That's respect. We love it. Thank you, Coach.
Tim Smith, one of the best, and I like how he answered the yes/no questions directly there too. And it's not a surprise as well. You've got a tough game, a really tight contest, and he said, they're a really good team.
It's just classic Tim Smith.
Oh yeah. And he's usually outspoken about his team and everything, but you can tell this is one of those dog fights.
Yeah, it's been a dog fight all game long between these two teams. The story for Arundel is revenge, right? Revenge. Evangel, the story is we want to get back to the mountaintop, right? So they want to compete for that national championship, but Arundel's standing in their way as of right now. So they want to make that statement and say, hey, we're here too. We remember last year we want that revenge. We're here to stay, and we're here in your way of climbing that mountain.
And a lot at stake on the line for both sides. You think about wanting to start off the season well on that cliche. You think about how both these teams, with their first game of the season being a matchup here in the Smokies, and you could say what you want about a win or a loss for both sides and how it propelled both sides last year to their respective runs. Like the Evangel Lightning had 10-2 record last year. Those two losses in 11-man football.
Onside kick.
As this onside kick is recovered by Zadok Fanning, the senior for the Patriots. But you could say what you want about, Arundel lost last year, and they did pretty well.
They did,
only losing in the semifinal for their for the NCISAA, and you could say, well, if Evangel loses here, they could be on the same path as Arundel, or even if Evangel wins, they'd be on the same path as they had in previous years. But especially for Evangel, I think 39 is impressive, unprecedented at this level especially, and you have to think that has a little bit of a factor in the players' minds right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and no matter who wins this game, like you said last year, they both came off and had very good seasons. So I wouldn't be shocked if both of these teams have very good seasons regardless of. And we're going to get a play action here. Here we go, deep shot.
Another deep shot, right side, Ben Barrett overthrown. In coverage was Alex Martin. You like the play executions here, but actually completing them to the end has been a challenge.
Yeah, Stimson has had a little bit of a problem. He threw that one. Looks like we're going to get a replay. Looks like he might have thrown that one off his back foot a little bit there. Looks like we're probably not going to get a replay, but looks like he did throw that one off his back foot, which caused it to sail a little bit and made Ben Barrett kind of run a little bit extra for it, but still wasn't able to come up with that one.
Incompletion leads it to a 2nd and 10 from the onside kick. 48-yard line is where the Patriots have started out this drive. As this goes up the middle, we've got a loss of video footage, so we'll go to radio style. Silas Rouse went up the middle for several yards gain, went up to the 45-yard line for a 3rd and 4.
Yeah, and he was able to cut up and get some crucial yardage on that one. It was number 32, correct? It was Silas Rouse, the sophomore, who had 15 rushes last year for 83 yards and 1 touchdown. So he is used to running that rock. Didn't get a lot of carries last year, but he's looking to make a statement and stamp his name on this Arundel team tonight.
It's been the story of this game is a lot of underclassmen, or those who didn't get a lot of playing time or touches of the ball last year, or even tackles for that matter, stepping up. As this goes to the left side, about to the 41-yard line. A carry here for Lofton Myers. We've called his name all night long.
Yeah, Max Watson was also able there to make that tackle. Max Watson is a guy who's been kind of flying around the night. We haven't really called his name a lot. Lofton Myers has kind of been the guy. He's made a lot of these Evangel defenders miss, but Watson was able to bring him on the ground that one. Eli Black is also on defense for the Evangel Lightning right now. He and Watson are sitting right in the middle. They're kind of those hungry dogs at those inside linebackers tonight. And they've done a really good job, minus a few that Lofton Myers has won against them. But overall, these two inside backers are really doing a great job tonight.
New set of downs on the 41-yard line. Rendell Parrott on their opening drive of this first half have already taken up a minute 45.
Another play action.
Again, avoided a tackle there, trying to avoid the third one, but brought down by Jackson Loudon. He only had 3 tackles and 1 tackle for loss last year. He's got a big one there.
Yeah, great play by Loudon. Able to get off that blitzing. Eli Black missed him, and they were able to come up with a sack. Rendell trying to take that deep shot since Evangel's not playing a high safety, so you have one-on-one matchups on the perimeter that they're looking to find with Barrett and Stimson and Outlaw. So they're looking for those matchups. They're just not able to complete those balls, and that time Evangel was able to get the best of that Rendell offensive line.
They get a loss here of 6 yards to bring up a 2nd and 16. Parrots try to respond. Another carry is not going to go anywhere. Lofton Myers swallowed up by the Lightning.
Yeah, they were able to stuff that. They're kind of shutting him down on this first drive in the second half. Lofton Myers, I believe that was Watson again that was able to get on that one. Actually, it was number 53, I believe, Jack Nivens, that was able to get in on that one. He's a little shaken up, but he made a great play there. Last year, Jack Nivens had 7 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks. So he had a little bit of production last year, but this year he's looking to make a big jump for the Lightning on defense.
Again, you would think if you're looking at the high school 11-man level, if somebody is in their junior year and not getting a lot of action, you would think.
We got Stimson, no corner down here. I like this matchup down here with Stimson. And he's playing inside leverage. That's an easy. We're going for screen.
Stimson with the dump off to Lofton Myers. He gets brought down by the jersey, not by the horse collar. There's good tackle by Eli Black.
This kid can do it all. He can play defense. He can play quarterback. And he was able to sniff that one out. Kind of dropped in the coverage on that. Was able to come down the hill and bring Lofton Myers down by the shoulder pad, like you said, Spence. Was able to get him down to the ground. Lofton Myers has done a great job tonight with yards after contact. But Eli Black said, "No more. We're going to shut you down." Niven said on the play previous to this Evangel Lightning defense is starting to get fired up and rise up and stop Lofton Myers in his tracks right now.
Number 1 seed for the NCISAA in the 2024 campaign, tied by 12 to the champions of the ACSC, where they have won that championship for the last 3 years. And we got a timeout on the field. I didn't see who called it there, but at 7:30 left to go in the third quarter, we got a stoppage in play. One of the teams using their first time. Seven and a half left to go in this third quarter. The Patriots out of Kinston, North Carolina. I think that's one of the deeper shotguns I've seen, but instead it's a keeper on the 4th down.
He's going to be short anyway.
We do have a flag. He's short on the line again. I beg your pardon. I say deep shotgun. It was a 4th down, so that was a fake punt attempt. Forgot what down it was there for a second.
And we do have an Evangel player down.
which is never a good sign whenever you have an injury
I believe
there.
that's number 2, Trey Hope.
And we've called his name several times throughout the game, and caught him off. He managed to stand up on his own power and go to the sideline. So penalties declined. It is a turnover on downs, as was on the Patriots. And let's go ahead and talk a little bit about both of these teams. Evangel coming on offense, a preview of what they're looking at for their season. Well, I'm looking at last year's. It's giving me results. I'm like, they haven't played more than one game right now. So looking at their schedule through 5, you've got they're here on the road with Gatlinburg, of course. Friday they play Chattanooga at home.
Patriots.
They host River Oaks, which
That's going to be a great game.
That River Oaks matchup, thinking about the Division I and Division II brackets, I know there was a lot of discussion last year about maybe River Oaks should have been in D1 for an HFA. We'll talk about it in a second. Incomplete pass intended there for Nick Sanders Jr. But that you talk about barn burner matches. Not only that, Evangel is going to be tested over the next, because Chattanooga, you guys played them. They are an intriguing team to face off against. River Oaks at home, at Freedom, then at Ezekiel, and then hosting the rest of your conference opponents in Lighthouse, Southern Christian, at East Central, and then there's that Trinity Christian Homeschool on the road to, or I beg your pardon, at home on the 24th of October to end the year. And I'll get your thoughts on that in a second, but one of the tougher schedules I've seen in a long time in the 8-man football world as this gets carried to the right side, a gain of maybe a yard or two on the play after several Patriot defenders stop Isaac Griffith. But have you seen a schedule that difficult in the last several years?
No, because let's just break this down real quick while we have time. This Chattanooga team, we faced off against them last week. They have a lot of talent, a lot of young talent. They played a really close game last night against the Christian Community Colts. They played a really close game against them. River Oaks, they lose a lot, but they also bring back a lot of talent. Their coaching staff is absolutely tremendous. Freedom Cowboys, we'll get back to that in a second.
On under 6.5, got a 3rd down and 10, up over the top, incomplete. Pass intended for Ben Davis.
And going back to what we were talking about, the Freedom Cowboys, we know what they have. They got Jalen Venter. They got Jonathan Callan. They got Eli Carr. They're returning 3 Gatlinburg All-Americans. They also have Elijah Brown for that squad. So that's going to be a game, and it's at Freedom, which is going to be very interesting. They take a trip to Hunter Wilson and his and Ezekiel Academy. That's going to be a very interesting game with Hunter Wilson's debut back to 8-man this year, along with Lighthouse Christian. That's going to be a great game. Southern Christian with the Scott brothers and Jason Scott, and then East Central and Trinity. That kind of gets easier down the stretch, but they have a really tough 6-week stretch to start off the season.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Evangel performs, especially with this being a lower number roster for the year, as Trey Hope punts this one off. Gets a generous bounce all the way with a roll to the 23-yard line is about where it goes out of bounds. And while we get changed on possessions, we'll talk about Arundel Parrott in their schedule. They'll host again. I'm looking again at the 24-25 schedules. This shows you how meticulous my game prep is and looking onto the back side of things. So next week they host Mississippi School for the Deaf. They host the Jones Trojans out of North Carolina. Head to East Carteret. They're at Faith Christian.
That's going to be the game.
Yep.
That's going to be the game. We saw
September
Faith
12th.
Christian today. Faith Christian and Cary Christian, those are the two that jump out to me for this Arundel Patriot team. So this is going to be a very interesting year for both of these teams and a lot of turnover on these rosters.
This will be handed off
Oh,
up
my
the
goodness,
middle.
Eli Black.
Yeah, Eli Black is getting it done on the offensive and defensive side of the
Oh,
ball.
my gosh, he's an animal on both sides of the ball. Eli Black shot the gap on that one and was able to stop Lofton Myers in his tracks. Eli Black, if this game, Evangel ends up coming out on top in this game, Eli Black definitely should be in the MVP consideration given his play tonight.
So I do want to correct myself. It is the Maryland School for the Deaf Orioles.
Oh,
so
they're taking a trip.
That's a trip coming down, which is cool to see. A first-time matchup, especially with a team that probably hasn't been in the Southeast that much in the 8-man football scene. And we'll break down the rest of their schedule in a moment.
He's going back to his brother.
Quick sling, good toss with the brother connection to William Stimson, just short of the line to gain. And We'll go ahead and get through this. So at Faith Christian, talked about that's the game. They host Halifax Academy. They'll host Punjo Christian Academy. They'll be at Howard hosting St. David's. The at Cary Christian matchup on October 24th.
Yes.
And then a rematch of their semifinal against John Paul II in October. And that is their final matchup before they get into the NCISAA playoffs, their first round semifinals in state championship.
So both teams have tough games throughout the stretch. Arundel's kind of on the back half of their schedule, and Evangel's at the first half of their schedule. So both these teams are going to be tested after this game tonight.
Third down and short. Looks like they'll get the first down. A good spin here from Lofton Myers.
Yeah, Eli Black again was there to stop him in his tracks, and a bunch of Lightning players came in and cleaned that one up. Lofton Myers getting a little banged up. This Evangel Lightning defense, they're known for their hard hitting. They like to knock heads, and they're certainly doing that.
So I beg your pardon, it was actually ruled short, looked close, and it's about a 4th and 1 or 4th and inches, and now Arundel Parrott will go for it with short field positioning. Doesn't look like they have don't think they'd have Lofton Myers in the backfield there if they were going to punt it. And the officials are having a discussion here, maybe on the spot. You can see William Stimson trying to listen with anticipation for what's going on here. And they will move the chains for a first down. Yeah, I thought for a second that they had gotten to the spot, so officials conferred, discussed, and now a first down from about the 33-yard line.
They're going to go shotgun pistol with Lofton Myers in the back. They got both Barrett and Stimson. All their weapons are out in the field.
And they'll hand it off. This defensive line for Evangel is not
Ball's
allowing.
out, ball's out, ball's out.
Is that – we're waiting on a signal. Are they going to rule that that ball was down?
Eli Black came out with the ball in the pile.
I think they're ruling it.
We have a replay right here. It looks like Watson was able – he was down. He was down. Both knees were down. Watson pulled him down. Both knees were down, so good call by the refs on that one.
You had a lot of confusion there. A lot of people thought that it was still going on. Even the line judges were confused on that.
Remind me of that Jalen Venter punch out in the SEAC championship last year. We didn't know who to punch the ball out. Didn't know if he was down. All we knew is there was a touchdown scored and ruled on the field. It was kind of that situation right there.
Lucky break there, second down, pass complete, right side. Good catch, weaving through traffic to about the 45. Good catch and run there by Ben Barrett.
Yeah, Ben Barrett able to turn up field and get that first down and move the chains. That clock is also running in the third quarter. They're looking, and we do have a player down, so we'll get back to that in just a second.
Another Evangel player down. Looked like he may have tried to get up on his own power, but he'll be looked at by the training staff. We will step aside. Good news to see the Evangel player is being looked at by the training staff on the sideline. It looked like that was Nick Sanders who was being looked at, and he was able to get off actually on his own power. Or sorry, Nick Sanders is helping stretch out his buddy. Looks like it's potentially just a cramp there. First and 10 for the 45.
A little bit of misdirection.
Carry on the right side. Lofton Myers again has got some space. One man to beat. He's going to be brought down from behind by Alex Martin, but not before he gets to a 1st and goal on the 10.
Yards after contact. He drugged that man about 10 yards. He's going to hit that outside on that misdirection play, hit the sideline. He had one man to beat, and he drug him. It wasn't 10 yards. It was almost 20. Great job there by Lofton Myers, dragging that man down all the way down to the 11-yard line. This Arindle and Lofton Myers is kind of hopping off the field, but he did a great job leading his team now down inside the 15. Looks like he's cramping up too.
Story of the game, chunk plays for both teams. They've been able to get some big runs, big passes to
But
march down
explosive
the field.
chunk plays.
Yeah, especially explosive.
Going back to that I formation.
So not a 1st and goal. It's on the 11-yard line where he was spotted. They only have to get to the 1 if they do want to extend the drive, but end zone on the eyes of the Patriots. They'll hand it up the middle. Carry here, Cooper Coleman. That's actually 11. Mason Mooring
There's a
will get
flag.
into the end zone, but we do have a penalty at the line of scrimmage.
Holding.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 when there's a big play like that and a flag at the line of scrimmage, you're going to have it taken back 10 yards.
Yeah, it was a great run there by Coleman, but big runs like that, we've kind of seen that all day. Big runs kind of be called back for holding, but, hey, they're still in good field position. They're sitting at the 17-yard line, I believe. So still good field position, and they'll be able to hopefully be able to punch this one in. And that clock is still going. They're really doing a really good job winding that clock tonight.
First and with the penalty, I guess they just moved it back about 5 yards from the spot of the foul as trying to carry it in the right side is Silas Rouse. And gets a carry of maybe a yard or 2 gain for a 2nd and long.
Eli Black coming in there again was able – he did look like he did strip the ball, but they stopped forward progress on that. So, but he's just being an animal tonight, and he hasn't really played a lot of offense tonight.
Yep.
I mean, he had those first 2 drives, and then they kind of had that Wildcat series there with the double wing, and then he hasn't played a lot of offense after that. He's been mostly been he's had a bigger impact on the defensive side tonight, which is kind of not what we expected with him being the starting quarterback.
And we mentioned in years prior, the Evangel Lightning have had enough players where they don't have to have their other stars play on both sides of the ball. They would maybe have 1 or 2 do that, but now in a more intriguing situation this year with the roster being the lowest since Tim Smith's first year.
Going to Ben Barrett. Look at that. Oh, Eli Black.
Great sack by Eli Black in the backfield.
That was close. I don't know if he brought him down by the shoulder pads or the face mask. Let's take a quick look at this. It looked kind of close. Yeah, he just turns around. Oh, yeah, he got him by the shoulder pad. That's clean. He just came through in there. Whoo, and lit that boy up. That'd be hurting after that one, Spencer. That'd be hurting after that one. Shot out of a cannon on that one.
One thing Eli Black didn't have last year that he has in 2025, a sack. He had
And he's accomplished that.
Yeah. Now 30 seconds of winding down. You wonder, I think the Patriots will at least get 1 snap off here to avoid the delay of game.
Unless there's an incomplete pass, which then the clock will stop, correct?
Knowing how the Patriots have been on these last couple of drives, they might rush it here, but they'll opt for the pass. Stimson will scramble, sling in the middle, incomplete. And just like you said, Eli, it is an incomplete with 11 seconds left. Coverage, Ben Davis.
It's like I'm a ball knower or something. like I've played this game. I'm just kidding with you. Yeah, he just, again, on the one over to his brother earlier in the game, he kind of drove that ball into the ground. He stepped it into the pocket, which is a great job. He had pressure all around him. He stood up, and he was able to deliver that ball again. Just wasn't square enough and kind of had his shoulders tilted down, which kind of drove that ball into the ground. But overall, great job getting out of trouble there and avoiding a consecutive sack.
11 ticks left on the clock for this third quarter.
4th down.
Here's Stimson, left side, incomplete.
man.
Turnover on downs for Evangel, and Tim Smith and company are very happy with that one.
Yeah, again, just another incomplete pass. Just maybe a little bit of a miscommunication on the route timing on that. But again, Evangel stepping up. Eli Black leading this defense. Alex Watson has gotten in there. Ben Davis has been getting in there. Trey Hope has been getting in there. A lot of guys are contributing tonight on not just offense but defense. Griffiths has been running the rock on offense. They've kind of been using a lot of guys. We're really used to 3 to 4 guys on this Evangel team, but they've kind of been spreading the love around tonight, which is not kind of what we're used to seeing.
Not very rare in 8-man football that you even have a depth chart. With
Exactly,
Evangel,
yeah.
it's rare that they don't have one. Final seconds as this is aired out deep. Ben Davis on the intention.
Oh, my
He
goodness.
got it in coverage. Ben Davis got the better of Lofton Myers, and he's got the ball in Patriots territory.
Yeah, he kind of threw that one up like a 50-50 ball. He stepped up. Great patience. He just kind of threw that one up. If Lofton Myers had turned his head a little bit sooner, he might have been to track that ball down. But Davis was able to go up and get it. Great job by Davis to snag that ball to end the third quarter for this exciting nightcap in Gatlinburg.
The third quarter in their matchup last year did not have a score. What's set for the final frame in the 2025 Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawl? We'll find out in a few moments. Start of the fourth quarter in the final matchup of the 2025 edition of the Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawl. Spencer Thompson, Eli Cornett, Preston McElhaney.
Oh, no, they're leaving a guy wide open out there. What are they doing? That's an easy pitch to catch.
Guy wide open, catch made by Trey Hope. He's down at about the 36 and has a wide open play to gain about 6.
Number 5, Nick Sanders, was sitting out there alone at the top of your screen, was trying to get Black's attention, and Black just wasn't able to find him. Lofton Myers was playing very, very inside of him, and that could have been really bad for the Patriots if Eli Black had found him.
Spencer Thompson, Eli Cornett, Preston McElhaney on the sidelines, our producer Theodore Fernandez, director James Shannon, Brendan Daniel, and Blake Biggs manning the cameras here from Legion Field, Hammond Stadium at Rocky Top Sports World in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And a good game, tied at 12. Right side, Eli Black trying to get through to the 35-yard line. Swallowed up by this entire defensive line for the Patriots.
As of right now, the Sorrento defense is paying attention to Eli Black, and they're paying attention to the run. He probably should have pulled that. Griffiths had a lane if he had been given the ball. So they're really keying in on Eli Black right now. So you got to start spreading the love a little bit more on offense. You've been spreading the love on defense. Now you got to do it on the other side of the ball. Okay, you got to find your guys. You got to find Ben Davis. You got to find Trey Hope. You got to find number 5, Nick Sanders. You got to find those guys. Find those guys. Get them. They got to get open. Griffiths. He's been able to hit run lanes all night long. He hasn't popped a big one like Lofton Myers has, but he's been able to pop a few chuck yard plays. So you got to get the other guys involved and not just Eli Black.
Looks like Griffith is to the left of Black. We got 2 people rushing here, and Griffith will take it. And it seems like they've tried to utilize Isaac Griffith a good deal, but he hasn't really been able to break free throughout the game.
And 2 short yard plays where he's only had to get a yard. He's kind of bounced outside, and he hasn't been able to get it for him. So you got to get north and south. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Eli Black is the one they have a lot of their trust in right now. But you got to get this 4th down if you want to try to get the lead with just a little bit under 10 minutes to go in this ball game.
And especially on the 4th down, again, people might wonder why do they go for it here. I wouldn't trust the Patriots with the ball with this much time left.
No.
Eli Black with the fake handoff. He'll get the
goodness.
first down and more just outside. He lost the football.
Oh, goodness.
Eli Black lost the football, and the Patriots have got it back. A good fumble recovery. Looks like Nick Blair had it.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a twist and turn, a little bit. Yeah, it looks like his wrist was down when that ball popped out, so that is a little bit close. That is close. Let's see, we're going to get it one more time. We're going to get it in slow-mo. Thank you, Director James Shannon.
Because the wrist does count if it's down. Almost his elbow.
It looks like the ball might have been out before he had even hit the ground. It's kind of tough to tell. It was a great angle. It's just kind of tough to tell.
That's what we call those bang-bang plays.
Absolutely.
But the officials rule in real time. It is a turnover and a 1st and 10 new set of downs for the Patriots. And they'll give it off to who else but Lofton Myers, who's been bursting with speed all night long, and he gets down to the 35 for another 1st down.
If he's able to make that first guy miss, he's gone. And he's proved that tonight. Again, both teams have a lot of speed, but Lofton Myers has been able to get the outside all night long. This offensive line for the Patriots also has done a really good job. So Lofton Myers able to hit the outside.
New set of downs at the 35-yard line. They stop the clock at 9:14 with Lofton Myers getting out of bounds. I formation. Hand it off again. And a carry for maybe a yard or two up the middle, which that's been a strong suit here as there's Mason Mooring who went with the carry. Let's hand it down to Preston McElhaney.
Spencer, so as you can see, yeah, the game's tied, and this is the exact type of stuff that both of these teams were preparing for in the pregame. I mentioned earlier I saw them practicing over in the soccer field, and this was the exact type of drills they were running, were these short situation drills where they can try to maybe find some room to score late in a quarter. Obviously, it's still kind of in the midway point of this quarter, but as that clock trickles down, we get closer to the end of this one.
Yeah, both coaches had mentioned that. It was crucial for them to get to these game-time situations and scenarios and be able to execute well as this gets pitched again. Does Lofton Myers break free? Not this time.
Oh, no.
First contact by Trey Hope and assisted by several other Lightning defenders.
Yeah, he was able to get the edge again on that, but Trey Hope and Ben Davis was able to knock him down. Eli Black was also in on that one. Just not able to turn the corner on that one, Spence.
Tell you, he couldn't get the corner, but he did manage to at least prevented it from going where they originally started the drive. We got to a 3rd and 9 now on the 36.
Yeah, they've been running the ball a lot, trying to wind that clock down. Now you're just under 8 minutes to go. And so you've been able to get a little bit, but now you're stuck in a 3rd and long. So who are you going to go to? You've gone to Ben Barrett and you've had success. You've also gone to Stimson. You've had success. So it's kind of pick your poison. Tanner Outlaw also has a touchdown tonight. So you're kind of looks like he's going to go to his brother.
He does across the middle.
Oh,
Couldn't
gosh.
get the completion there. William Stimson, again, looked like it was just past him.
Besides that first ball, it looks like the timing's just been off a little bit. Excuse me. The timing has been off a little bit on these throws from Stimson to Stimson, and again to Barrett too a little bit. But again, it looks like they are going to go for it unless they do punt it. I mean, you got 7:19 left, and I believe they do have 2 or 3 timeouts in their back pocket, so you do have a timeout to stop the clock.
And it's one thing if you're in enemy territory like Evangel was on the last 4th down and decide to not give the ball back to the Patriots or not take a chance, but we got a timeout here for the Lightning with 7:19 left to go in regulation. Lightning will get a chance to think it over. I know it's a cliche that we end up using probably more often than we should, but crucial play coming up here to swing the pendulum in the game.
Yeah, very crucial play. Looks like they are going to punt it away, so they are going to try to pin Evangel deep inside their own territory. Again, you got 7:19 left. Both teams haven't been able to really move the ball at will besides those first 3 drives of the game. They are going to boot that thing away. It's kind of shanked it a little bit.
It'll bounce down to about the 39-yard line, and the Lightning did burn the first time out used by either team in this second half, so they have 2. And this will give us a chance to see how Evangel's offense can work and the clutch factor, which has not been a problem for them over the last almost decade under the leadership of Tim Smith.
But now this is the time. If you got 7:13 left, this is when you're able to turn the page page to the new chapter. You got Eli Black at your quarterback. You have a fairly young roster on your hands of your coach, Tim Smith. So now is the time to turn the page in that book and really stamp yourself at 1-0 to open the 2025 season. And hopefully this is your first step to climb that mountaintop to Panama City, Florida.
Aren't we more of a mountaintop here than in
We
Florida?
are at a mountaintop.
I was going to say.
I just wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to hike up these mountains. That would take forever.
Eli Black toss across the middle, too high for Ben Davis. And I didn't really mention it, almost a broken record. The play calls are not bad. And to think about how Tim Smith said he was nervous of coordinating this offense, the play calls are not bad. It's just maybe first game rust being worn off.
Well, you got to think, you had some teams who've already played a game. Like the Tennessee Tigers, we had played a game last week. I believe South Haven had just come back from a jamboree the week before that. So a lot of teams out of Tennessee and Alabama and a few Georgia teams have already shaken off that rust a little bit. So again, it's normal for a first week to shake off that rust, especially with the young team.
He'll just keep it forward here to Ben Davis.
He's going to cut back.
Try to reverse the other side. Avoided the tackle there from Brody Kuzchek and finally gets brought down by several other Arendelle Parrott Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots kind of said no, sir, on that one. He tried to cut back on that, and they were sitting right there. Everybody did their job on that play. You had guys pursuing the ball. You had guys waiting there on the cutback. So great job by the Patriot defense, playing sound defense and able to shut that play down.
And one thing you're at least seeing in the sort of trust with using these same plays and with all the players, Tim Smith talked about how his team's strength, he complimented their running game and said it was the strongest that he had, but he mentioned that their strength is in how close this team is.
Yes, and this team has been together for a while. These seniors have been together for a while. You have a lot of ninth graders as well who have played middle school together. So you have a lot of camaraderie. You have a lot of morale on this team. They've also had great leadership, as we'll come back to this in just a second.
Black with the toss. It's intercepted. It's picked off. Silas Rouse did not have an interception last year, and at a crucial juncture, the Lightning give off a pick.
Yeah, we're going to look at the replay right here. He was looking at Trey Hope. Trey Hope was wide open. He threw it across his body back towards Ben Davis. But you had Sanders and Hope down here wide open. Really, they're looking at Eli Black. They're thinking he's going to run the ball. And then you have these two out here standing around here wide open. If you were Eli Black, I would have tried to find them on this side. But, again, they're keen on Eli Black, so that's going to make it a little bit difficult. But now you got to turn around and play defense, and now you got 6 minutes left, and you got two timeouts in your back pocket. This is the revenge. This is the vengeance. Let's see if Arendelle can get this done.
Quick sling. Ben Barrett right side trying to get past several Evangel players. Gets brought down at the 35.
Yeah, he's going to pick up about 4 on that one. A good quick throw and catch. Ben Barrett able to come up with that one. And if you're Stemps, you want to get your confidence back a little bit. You've been overthrowing balls. You've been underthrowing balls tonight. So you just want to kind of get those quick rhythm, quick timing back. So good first play. And you're already threatening in Evangel territory. And let that clock run, baby. Let that clock run if you want to win that game or if you want to win this game.
Christopher Stimson leading this offense throughout the entire evening. He was on the All-State team last year for the NCISAA. And showing why, as this pass had somehow managed to pull it back in, did his brother. I believe that's only the second catch that the brother connection has made. Almost lost it there on the bobble.
Two difficult catches that these brothers have made, throw-in catches that they have made tonight. So Simpson's starting to get a little bit more comfortable now as he's now completed 2 consecutive passes. So they're threatening. They're taking their time, which is what they need to do, because we know Evangel can come out in a hurry and score quickly, but the Sorrento defense has had something to say about it. But at this point, who knows? Who knows what we have in store for us tonight?
New set of downs at the 27-yard line, knocking on the door of the red zone. And they'll send Barrett in motion. Stimson is going to air it out looking for the end zone in motion. Couldn't pull it in. They put Barrett in motion with a well-drafted play, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, it looks like they had him coming in motion. They were running a little bit of a switch route. He ran on a wheel, and he had a post underneath that. And it looks like he just kind of, the ball landed a little bit behind him. A little bit of a difficult catch to come up with there. So if you're the senior, you don't want to be too distraught over that one. You got to come back and make the next play. And there is a flag on the play.
Yeah, I just noticed it at about the 31-yard line, and the officials are still conferring on this.
Looks like they're talking to Tim Smith about it. Might be on a Rendell.
Trying to make a decision on what they're going to do with the penalty here.
Holding.
It's a defensive holding. So
Wow.
that'll move it for an automatic first down.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know if they were holding Barrett on that one. There was a little bit of a tug from that slot receiver when he was running his in route.
And with that mistake, it'll bring the ball inside the red zone at the 17.
Interesting.
From the 17.
Barrett back in motion.
Same scheme they had on the last play. Stimson will toss it up top. Who else but Lofton Myers? He's got space. He's got the touchdown.
There goes that man. Lofton Myers gets that middle screen and it takes it to the crib. Able to come up with 6 on that one. Now they're up by 6 with 4:14 left in the ball game. So we got a ball game on our hands, Spence.
Third lead change of the entire contest. And now you've got the second time that this Patriots team has led throughout the game. And now a chance for them to go up by 8.
They're going to go with split back. Lofton Myers in the shotgun.
Lofton Myers will toss it himself, and it gets picked off. So they have on the stat line an interception, but the 2-point conversion attempt is no good. 2 timeouts left for Evangel. They've got 4:14 to work with.
And with this game, we have not seen a converted 2-point conversion tonight in this game.
Yep.
So a lot of big games have come and have been decided with 2-point conversion. So who knows? Who knows? That's the beauty about 8-man. You never know. You never know because some teams kick field goals, some teams do 2-point conversions, and sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone and match with what the other team is doing. So that's really the beauty about 8-man. You can kind of do either or the other. And right now, Evangel is going to have to drive potentially almost the length of the field to either tie the game or get back on top. I predicted yesterday on our way to Gatlinburg that this game would go into overtime. So I'm hoping with 4:14 left, I might be correct on this.
And for those 150 of you who are joining us, you're watching a good one, and especially one that could be going to overtime with 6 left. And a little bit of trickery on
They've been doing that all game. I love it. I'm going to have to put that in my back pocket.
I think it was the Freedom Cowboys a couple of years ago did the huddle kick, as this will go 10 yards but will be picked up by Ben Davis, who's got space. He'll get down to about the 49-yard line, and Evangel will get a chance to work here. A couple of things before we get into the stretch of the game. First and foremost, this crew for this broadcast all day, tremendous. We have been on site since 8 in the morning in the hot sun. A lot of us, especially guys like Blake and Preston, who've been on the field all day on that 10-plus degree turf. I know Eli had his game at 1 o'clock, and he was there for several hours, and he's been up here with us in the booth. Wanted to make sure I give a tremendous shout-out to the crew and everything. And no clue if she's watching right now, but my grandmother is in the hospital right now. Got that news when I was coming in for this weekend. I want to give a shout-out to my grandmother, Claudia, only living grandmother on my side, and hoping all is well with her, thinking of her as well and the family who is with her in that regard, as Eli Black will take this up the middle for a breakaway. Eli Black is that boy. Touchdown.
One score one way, one score the other way. Looked like the third quarter, nobody was going to score. We might end up with 12-12, but as of right now, it's back and forth. This last 4 minutes might be classic.
And we have dirty laundry on the field.
I think that's just a glove, I believe. Sideline warning.
Sideline warning. So there was a flag thrown on Evangel for the sideline warning, but does not have an impact on the play. This is just so mirroring of the Evangel Lightning over the years, where they don't need that much time to score.
What did I say? They can look like they're not going to score at all, then they just pop off a big one. That's kind of what Tim Smith is known for, and the kids he's been coaching over the years. They can make a 99-yard drive for 10 minutes, or they can pop one when they need to. So big credit to Eli Black in this offense tonight. They've been outstanding, along with Stimson and the Arundel offense. Both teams have been playing out of their minds tonight on both sides of the ball.
The two-point conversion game has not been made yet, so that might be what it comes to, but we've got whistles. And
looks like Arundel's going to call a timeout.
I believe the Patriots called their first timeout of the second half at the 3:59 mark, so they'll get a chance to think it over here in the Smoky Mountains. Coach Beeman, Coach Smith, talking with their teams, trying to get things situated on these final 4 minutes of game time, or specifically 3 minutes and 59 seconds. Now, Tim Smith's been around a long time. Coach Beeman has been around for a couple of years with Rendell Parrott, and interesting to see the chess match that's been playing out here.
Absolutely. They're going to go empty on this. So you might see a little bit of a QB draw. They're trying to spread them out. Eli Black's been running all night.
Eli Black sends a man in motion to Davis. He'll keep it himself. Black will be stuffed. He's not going to get forward. Zadok Fanning shuts that opportunity down.
Yeah, they brought that guy in motion. They've been running that jet motion read play all night long. They started off with it, and now they're trying to capitalize on it with a two-point conversion. But now we have an 18-18 ball game, so it's still anybody's ball game. Rendell, I believe do they have one timeout left, or they have no timeouts left?
I believe Evangel has one more timeout that they can use, too, for Arundel.
Okay, so Arundel's got 2 timeouts left. And they've been able to run the ball with Lofton Myers. Both of these stars on these teams, Lofton Myers and Eli Black, have been taking a beating tonight. Have taken a beating tonight, excuse me, and they're gonna have to come up in the clutch tonight. And there's a little bit under 4 minutes left in this game, so really excited to see the end of this great weekend here at Gatlinburg.
Great 2 weekends with the Black Bear Brawl. 2 games last week, ended with a great one with South Haven and Pack. And by 2 points. And getting down to the wire here on this final matchup to kick off high school 8-man football. Then the regular season starts next week. I mean, technically it's already started, but
It's already started,
the regular
yeah.
season festivities beyond Gatlinburg start and continue. Nick Sanders will kick it up high. Fair catch called for at the 32-yard line. Good hands by Ben Barrett. And the Patriots have a chance to do what they've been doing throughout the game, march it down the field, burn the clock, and get a score to end it.
You don't want to score too quickly. That's the other thing. You don't want to score too quickly. You don't want to go for the home run ball right off the bat because Evangel showed on their last drive they can score in one play. So you want to be able to take your time, run that clock down. You have a little bit under 4 minutes. So you really want to take your time. You have Lofton Myers. Stimson hasn't really used his legs a lot tonight, but maybe a little bit of the quarterback run game to match what Eli Black has been doing tonight.
He only rushed for 38 yards on 10 carries last year, did Christopher Stimson. It'll be interesting to see if his legs are used, but not here. He'll give it off to Lofton Myers. There is a flag on the far side. He'll get down to the 35. And we got a penalty. Would not be surprised if you have offensive holding. And my prediction, absolutely correct. A holding. That'll bring it back 10 yards.
Or aren't you just a little ball knower, Spencer?
They will wind the clock at 3:34. Brings it back for a 1st and 20 on the 22. Again, Barrett in motion. He'll go forward. He'll get slung quickly and will cut past 2 players. He maybe has some space, and the wrap-up tackle there by Alex Martin, but he does get a chunk of yards back from the penalty.
Yeah, run those quick plays. Run those quick plays to your playmakers. You got Lofton Myers and you got Barrett. We've been saying their names all night long. Get those guys out in space, as we do have a player down.
Another Evangel player down at the 40-yard line. We will step aside for an injury. Soccer. Well, if you're tuned into this matchup, this is good old classic American football, not soccer, thinking the worldwide side. And part of that as well, Alex Martin is heading to the sideline. He's able to stand on his own feet and everything. And this is now about a 2nd and 13, or beg your pardon, 2nd and 3 with that big gain. And trying to go to the outside is Ben Barrett. He does. Tiptoes the sideline.
Oh my
Ben
gosh.
Barrett stayed in. He was not ruled out. Ben Barrett to the house. The Patriots take the lead.
Wow. Wow. Get your playmakers in space. What did I just say? Get your playmakers in space and let them do the work. Ben Barrett on that screen pass in the flat, able to take that thing and outrace the entire Evangel defense. Great job by this Patriot offense getting a quick score. But again, I said don't score too early because they can score in a heartbeat. Evangel can score in a heartbeat. But both these teams are gassed. As you see, they are tired, and they've been laying it all on the line tonight.
It's been all touchdowns, and this is the big question now at this juncture is if the Patriots can be the first team to capitalize to get 8 on a drive.
This is very critical. Very, very critical.
Lofton Myers, part of the formation with Mooring.
You're going to get a timeout.
And they're going to burn another timeout. So they'll get a chance to think it over. 2:37 left to go in regulation. Two-point conversion attempt for the Patriots, trying to be the successful one on this. They are 0 for 3 in tonight's contest as one of the linemen throws a towel over to the 10-yard line. And we'll go with that same I formation. Fake the handoff, looking for the pass to the left side. It's caught.
Got it.
A two-point conversion by Tanner Outlaw. Make that 26-18.
First two-point conversion made tonight, so this is going to be very critical. It might come down to another two-point conversion. Shades of last year, not just in Gatlinburg with Freedom and Pack, but also the national championship game with Freedom and Pack. This has been an extraordinary game on both sides. Both teams have been laying it all on the line, like I just said. But they've been competing. They've both been fighting, and I can't wait to see how this one finishes.
And Evangel has not had to worry about being in these close games. Most of the time they've been able to score early, go up by 3 to 4 touchdowns.
There's been a few.
Not as much, but in terms of the last couple of years, they have had some close matchups. But for the most part in their competition in this historic 39 straight wins, they haven't had to worry about it that much. So unfamiliar territory, but they have been in close matches.
But
like
again,
this
like I
before.
said, they're turning a new chapter.
Yep.
In this book with Tim Smith and this young team. So very interesting to see what we're going to see down the stretch here with 2.5 minutes left in this ball game.
Set to be booted away by Nick Blair. And slid down at about the 43. That was Nick Sanders Jr. picking it up.
All right, it was the Eli Black show on the last drive on that one-play touchdown drive. So very interested to see what they're going to do. They're going to go back to Black. Are they going to run the ball with Griffiths? Or they're going to look for Hope, Davis, and Sanders? Kind of been your three guys. It's really been Ben Davis has been his go-to guy tonight. So very curious to see what Tim Smith has drawn up for potentially the last drive of the game.
And if there's anybody who can do it, it's Tim Smith.
It's Tim Smith. Absolutely. But don't count out Matt Beeman
for sure. Well. The defensive coordinator, Chris Brown, and their defensive lineman coach, Daniel Prigden, they've got their work cut out for them in this next 2 and change. Here's Eli Black. He's going to air it out up the middle. Triple coverage there. Looking for the catch. Who pulled it down?
Interception.
Who pulled it down? Waiting for the signal.
Interception.
We had a question on something like this similar earlier and trying to fight for it.
That's questionable.
They ruled it a catch. They ruled it a catch for Ben Davis.
That's too tough. That's too tough to call. They're going to give possession to the receiver on that one. Looks like Lofton got over top of that ball, but Davis was able to snatch it underneath. So great play there by the receiver. But honestly, both guys competing for that ball. Again, like we saw that earlier with East Central and Faith Christian with Micah Smith ending up coming up with that ball. So we've kind of seen shades of each game, and each game we've kind of seen it's been very cool to see. Both these teams are competing as that clock is continuing to run.
Black with a man to his right. He'll fake the quick slant, but will opt to pitch it at the last second. A good catch, tiptoeing the sideline is Ben Davis.
Yeah, great pitch and catch there by Ben Davis. Get out of bounds and stop the clock. Able to save, I believe, that last time out that Tim Smith has in his pocket.
Talk about great clock management, too. You think about it in high school, you practice a whole bunch of things. And I guess it's a question for you. How often you guys practice those 2-minute drills?
We do it probably twice a week at least.
Good.
If we want to do 4-minute drill, 2-minute drill, kill the clock, and then get in victory formation, we go through all those scenarios because you never know week to week, Friday to Friday, what situation you're going to be in.
Here's Black to the left side. He's got pressure, looking for the pass. He'll have to
that
keep
ball
it
away.
himself as usual, and he's got it at about the 11-yard line. And familiar shades from earlier where they got to the 11 and were 1 yard shy of doing a 1st and goal.
They've been able to capitalize on that as well. So Eli Black kind of doing it with his legs tonight. Eli Black, this is kind of a little bit of a it's more of a recent reference, but he's really reminding me of Max Duggan in that Big 12 championship, putting it all in his shoulders. Max Duggan was really gassed on that last drive against Kansas State in 2022, and that's exactly what Eli Black is doing right now, leading his team not just on offense but also on defense.
Motion again. Black will hand it off, and Griffith manages to get more than about 2 yards here. We'll get up to about the 8-yard line. Still, again, one of those players they like to run up the middle for chunk plays.
And he's just a big bruising back. I mean, he's not going down on first contact. He's doing a really good job. He's been able to run outside and inside. And he's young, right? He's just a 10th grader, so he has got time to grow and get coached up. And again, this is the first game of the year.
Here's Black, toss, end zone, touchdown! Good reception in double coverage. A 2-pointer away from tying it up. Trey Hope pulled it in.
Overtime. We are going to go to overtime. Eli Black rolling to his right, looking at Trey Hope, and he was able to – that is a NFL throw if I've ever seen one. Throw it in a very tight window. Great job there by the young man. He's really risen to stardom here on this Evangel squad tonight.
And Evangel is going to use their last timeout to think it over with 68 seconds left in this fourth quarter. And we're talking at halftime. There's another broadcast going on right now. Our colleague Scott Stafford is running the Evangel Lightning home broadcast and talked to him about saying that Eli Black seemed to be really good. And he said, I mean, he's one of the Black family members.
Yeah.
They've been having a history of great athletic excellence throughout the Evangel Lightning, and they've been really well on this. And credit to Arundel's Patriots as well. This defense has done what they can. It's almost unheard of to hold the Lightning to potentially 26 points, but to hold them to 24 points.
Yeah, Arundel has done a really good job, and obviously you have all summer to scheme this up. You've had all fall camp to scheme this up. So they've taken a lot of time, and when you're playing Evangel and you know you got Evangel week 1, it's all hands on deck. You got to do the extra mile to prepare for good teams like Evangel. So Arundel has done a really good job. They've stepped up to the plate, and they've been battling all night. So credit to Matt Beeman and his staff for their game plan tonight.
No more timeouts, maybe one. No more timeouts for the Lightning using their last one. A lot of options you could go with here if you're the Lightning.
Ben Davis is right there at the wing. Look for them to run a flat route, maybe a little bit of a pick.
Here's Black. Scramble, trying to make something happen. He's got the space on the outside, trying to get through. He's short. Down at the 2-yard line. A big tackle made by the defense.
And we do have a collision down there.
Eli Black collided there with Lofton Myers, 2 of the players we've called all game. You hate to see that sort of collision in terms of any potential injuries. Both of them have gotten back up. They'll be looked at by the training staff just to be safe. But it's one of those that those players have been going at it all night long.
Yeah, they've been going at it all night long, and they're probably just gassed because they've kind of been the 2 guys on their respective squads. So look for an onside kick here. Probably trying to get that ball back. They were able to execute one of these and get the ball back in the first half. So they're probably going to try to get it perfect on this try here with 1:08 left in this ball game.
Not uncommon, has been successful on those onside kicks, at least once for both sides of the ball. Especially with no more timeouts for the Lightning. This is your ball game.
Yep. Knock on wood. It is your ball game. Absolutely. And again, like we said, it came down to 2-point conversions, and that's exactly what we just saw.
Only one 2-point conversion made the entire contest, and it was by the Arundel Patriots.
Again, it's a spooky score, 26-24. It's another 2-point difference.
Yeah, we keep getting the good ones.
We really do.
Keep getting the 2-pointers. Sanders on the odd side kick attempt. This will bounce high up, picked up by Ben Barrett,
Wow.
and that should do it. The Patriots are going to get their vengeance they wanted from last year, where they lost by 19.
Yeah, and credit to the Arundel squad tonight. They've come out and they played ball tonight on offense and defense. No matter what breaks didn't go their way, the mistakes they made, they overcame that adversity tonight, and they're going to come out of the Black Bear Brawl, the biggest game of the weekend. They're going to come out with the dub.
Clock was not stopped initially on the kickoff, so now 1 minute and 4 seconds. But regardless, the Patriots have victory formation and only have to snap it here. And we'll just wind things down. You know, Tim Smith talked about they were just getting ready to play again instead of the idea. They hate the idea of rebuilding. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff that the Lightning will have to go back to the drawing board in some respects. And one of these games that there's a lot of good that they could take from it as they head into the remainder of their tough schedule coming up in the next couple of weeks.
A lot of good, but a lot of tests coming up as well. So this football team is going to grow up really quickly, and they're going to band together pretty quickly with the tough 4, 5, 6 games they have down the stretch.
The Lightning are unable to strike in the rubber match. 39 straight wins ended in Gatlinburg. (26-24) as the Patriots celebrate. And like we mentioned last year, Arundel lost to Evangel. Look at the run they had to go on to their semifinal in their conference. Evangel, they'll start out 0-1 for the first time in years.
Yes.
I don't know if under Tim Smith they've started out 0-1.
I can't, not in my lifetime that I can remember.
I don't know who you pick for the – well, I mean, there's a couple of guys for Arundel Parrott on the MVP side. There's several of them you could go with.
Ben Barrett. Ben Barrett is my dude. Stimson had a really good game at quarterback. I believe it was number 10, Brooks Grady, had a really good game defensively. And Tanner Outlaw had a pretty good game.
Lofton Myers, too, on that
Myers,
list, so it's
tough.
tough.
He had a really good game, so it's really tough to really pick one guy. Will we see the first co-MVPs maybe? Maybe our
second, because we had one last week.
Okay, maybe our pal Andrew Capps is gonna maybe give out 2 of these little chains we've been seeing all weekend long.
Yeah, we had last weekend, and he mentioned that was the only time in Black Bear Brawl history where they had 2 go MVPs because you couldn't really give it to anybody else.
Exactly.
It was just a challenge to be able to pull that off as we get to the most valuable player and the Lombardi Trophy celebration in a moment. And interesting element. Usually we've seen the teams congregate together and do some sort of group prayer or something like that. Both the teams just heading their separate ways.
Yeah. Hard-fought game, very emotional game for both these squads. But if you're Evangel, you want to keep your head up. Like we said, you have a bunch of tests coming up in the next few weeks, and there's nothing negative to take away from this game. Both these teams made minimal mistakes. They didn't really give up. They gave up big plays, but it's nothing that's not fixable. So if you're Evangel, go back to the drawing board, fix those mistakes, come out against Chattanooga, and try to get the win next week.
There was only one score on both sides that were big explosive plays. The rest of them were the explosive plays that led to short touchdowns that were made. But Looks like Andrew Capps on the field, Director of Business Development for Rocky Top Sports World and the mastermind behind these Black Bear Brawl events, and also in charge of the rest of the All-American Series. So although we'll say goodbye to Gatlinburg for the moment, December will be here before we know it. A long season,
it won't be
certainly.
hot. It'll be
Yes.
freezing cold.
I'm fine with that. I am absolutely fine with that.
You and I are in disagreement about that, my
Oh, yeah.
friend. We just need a nice, cool 60s, 70s. We need to come to Gatlinburg
Amen.
and prime mountain weather.
Here's Andrew Capps on the presentation. Joys of signal issues from the distance with the microphone from the PA box. You might be trying to ask the guys to shift down if it can help with the mic signal. Yeah, we had those issues ourselves. Plenty over the years, but and I believe they're calling an audible because of the microphone issues, and Parker Prophet, the PA announcer, is going to give the updates for the most valuable player and champion. Yep. Yep, co-MVPs as we talked about. Lofton Myers and Ben Barrett, the players who are co-MVPs, well-deserved. Such a good game between the two. And Preston McElhaney will get a chance to talk with both of them in a moment as the team celebrates their joyous moment where they got their vengeance from last year. And Arenda Parrott will start their season with no losses as they head into their tough stretch of schedules. For both sides on that as well, the Evangel Lightning will also have their challenging stretch we mentioned throughout the evening. Once again, a great set of games all day today. 5 in total, 1 on the field number 6. A lot of great events here over the last 2 weeks at Rocky Top Sports World. Gatlinburg All-American Bowl games. Rising Stars game will be set to occur in mid-December, as it usually does this year. And it looks like Preston is going to get situated with both of these players in a few seconds. The joys of live production and the celebrations with all the players and everything. But your co-MVPs in this final matchup, Ben Barrett and Braxton Lofton Myers, as they all get situated. as they get everything situated here. Looks like Preston McElhaney is on standby with Barrett and Lofton Myers. Preston?
Obviously, both of you played an amazing game. Congratulations to both of you for being the only co-MVPs in this entire Black Bear Brawl. I need to know, what were your thoughts following such a huge and historic program?
Last year, we came in way more in shape. Since go, we wanted it. We wanted to come back and beat them. We didn't feel like last year really represented how we play football in North Carolina, and I'm glad we showed them what's up this year.
I know it was a really here and everything, and I know that everyone is the underdog in this store is one to kind of topple the mountain here, quite literally.
We've been working every week, but man, waiting for, we've been ready. We've been preparing every day. Just getting ready. Coach Beam had us ready. Shout out my O-line for just blocking well for me. Man, my receivers, everybody on the team.
Both your team players, y'all have a good night. Congratulations to both of you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
They did not have an extra chain to anticipate co-MVPs down there. They had an extra one last week with the games, unfortunately, with the Lighthouse Homeschool Warriors not being able to play their game with their opponent dropping out. And that's 2 games here in the 2025 edition of the Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawl where we had co-MVPs. Well, it's 26-24 in your final score. The Patriots of Arundel Parrott get vengeance and the W against the Lightning of Evangel Christian School. For Eli Cornett, Preston McElhaney, our producer Theodore Fernandez, our director James Shannon, all the hardworking men and women that make this run so smoothly. I'm Spencer Tomset saying so long from the Smoky Mountains. The Lightning will stay in the record books, but it will end here with 39 straight wins coming to a close against Arundel Parrott.